12 Ways to Double Your Productivity by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. The Magic of Your Mind. The greatest discovery of our generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. As you think, so shall you become. This simple truth has escaped the vast majority of people, yet it contains the secret to doubling your productivity and transforming your entire life. Your mind is miraculous. Right now, as you read these words, it's processing thousands of bits of information. It controls your breathing, your heartbeat, and countless other bodily functions without your conscious awareness. But most importantly, your mind is constantly shaping your reality through your thoughts. We become what we think about most of the time. This isn't some mystical concept. It's practical psychology. When you focus your thoughts on productivity and achievement, your actions naturally align with those thoughts. Your brain begins to notice opportunities that support your thinking. You make decisions that move you toward your mental image. Think of your mind as a garden. You are the gardener. Every day, you have a choice. Plant seeds of productivity, positivity, and purpose, or allow weeds of procrastination, doubt, and fear to grow automatically. The garden doesn't care what you plant. It will return exactly what you put into it. Many people struggle with productivity not because they lack ability, but because they've developed habits of negative thinking. I can't focus. I'm always behind. I'm not organized. These thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. The good news? This habit can be broken starting today. Your brain is always listening to your self-talk. When you say this is too difficult, your brain agrees and looks for evidence to support that belief. When you say, I'm becoming more productive every day, your brain also agrees and begins searching for ways to make that statement true. The most productive people understand this principle. They carefully guard their thoughts. They don't allow negative news, complaining colleagues, or temporary setbacks to program their thinking. Instead, they deliberately fill their minds with images of success, efficiency, and achievement. Start watching your thoughts as if they were physical objects you're placing in your mind. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me become more productive? Is it moving me toward my goals or away from them? This simple awareness begins the transformation. Here's something practical you can do. Keep a small notebook with you for the next 7 days. Every hour, take 10 seconds to jot down what you've been thinking about. At the end of the week, review your notes. How many thoughts were positive versus negative? How many were focused on your goals versus random worries? This exercise often reveals a surprising pattern. Most people discover they spend far more time thinking about what they don't want than what they do want. Simply becoming aware of this pattern starts to change it. Your productivity will double when you harness the magic of your mind. Begin directing your thoughts deliberately toward what you wish to accomplish. Picture yourself working efficiently, completing important tasks, and achieving your goals. Feel the satisfaction of progress. Remember, the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind will eventually determine your destiny. Choose thoughts of productivity and watch as your actions and results transform before your eyes. Lesson 2. Setting goals that pull you forward. The person without a goal is like a ship without a rudder, destined to drift aimlessly through the sea of life. Throughout my years of studying successful men and women, I've observed one consistent truth. Those who achieve greatness have clear, specific goals pulling them forward each day. Why do so few people set clear goals? Perhaps it's because they've never grasped the magnetic power of a well-defined target. When you set a goal with clarity and conviction, you activate forces within you that begin working day and night to bring that goal into reality. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they never established a destination worth pursuing. They're like archers shooting arrows without a target, then wondering why they never hit anything worthwhile. The moment you decide what you truly want and commit it to paper, you've taken the first critical step that separates the achievers from the dreamers. Written goals possess a power that mere wishes never will. The physical act of writing crystallizes your thoughts, forcing you to clarify exactly what you want. There's something almost magical that happens when we transform our thoughts into written words. The goal becomes more real, more attainable. I've found that big goals generate more energy than small ones. This seems counterintuitive, but it's true. When you set a goal that excites you, that stretches your conception of what's possible, you naturally find the energy to pursue it. Small goals, ironically, often feel more burdensome because they fail to ignite your imagination. Your mind works like a problem-solving machine. Give it a worthy problem, a significant goal, and it begins working around the clock to find solutions. Even while you sleep, your subconscious mind continues seeking paths to your objective. The most productive people understand that goals aren't just destinations. They're daily companions that guide every decision. When you have clarity about what matters most, deciding what deserves your attention becomes simple. You can measure each task against your goals and instantly recognize what deserves your precious time. Most people live by accident rather than by design. They react to circumstances rather than creating them. But when you set clear goals that pull you forward, you become the architect of your future rather than a mere passenger. Your goals must be your own. Goals imposed by others rarely inspire the necessary passion to overcome obstacles. Ask yourself what you truly want, not what others expect of you. The goals that energize you will be those that resonate with your deepest values. They'll be those that resonate with your deepest values. The distance between your current reality and your goals creates a productive tension that can propel you forward. Embrace this tension rather than avoiding it. Let your goals pull you like a powerful magnet, drawing out your best efforts each day. When you harness the magnetic power of clear goals, your productivity will not merely double, it will transform your entire life. Lesson 3. The Hour of Gold. There exists a magical time in each day that most people overlook. I call it the hour of gold, and it exists in those precious moments of early morning when the world is still quiet and your mind is fresh. This golden hour holds tremendous power to transform your productivity and, by extension, your entire life. Have you ever noticed how different the world feels at 5:30 in the morning? There's a stillness, a sense of possibility that simply doesn't exist later in the day. The early morning hours contain a special power for productivity that the achievers of this world have long understood. While others sleep, the successful are quietly building their empires. The first hour of your day sets the pattern for everything that follows. It's like the first domino in a long row. Knock it over correctly, and everything else falls into place with almost magical precision. Begin your day with focus and purpose, and watch how the rest of your hours seem to arrange themselves more efficiently. Most successful people I've studied over the decades do their most important work before 8:00. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Ernest Hemingway, Margaret Thatcher. All were early risers who protected their morning hours, like the treasure they truly are. They understood intuitively what science has now confirmed. Willpower is a finite resource that is strongest in the morning before it gets used up by the 1,000 tiny decisions we make throughout the day. When you rise early, you're not just getting a head start on the clock. You're claiming the most powerful hours for yourself before the world can make demands on your time and attention. During these quiet hours, free from phones ringing and messages arriving, you can think more clearly and work with greater concentration than at any other time. The hour of gold gives you something even more valuable than time. It gives you uninterrupted thought, and uninterrupted thought. And uninterrupted thought is where breakthrough ideas are born. Think of it this way. Would you rather have 3 hours of fragmented, distracted time in the middle of a busy day, or 1 solid hour of complete focus when your mind is at its sharpest? The answer is obvious when stated this way, yet how many of us choose the fragmented hours by default? There's something else about the early morning that few people consider. When you rise before the world, you experience a sense of control over your life that builds confidence throughout the day. Instead of starting your day by reacting to others, you begin by acting on your own most important priorities. Try this simple experiment. For just 1 week, set your alarm clock 30 minutes earlier than normal. Use this time for your single most important task, not email, not news, not social media. Work without interruption. I predict you'll be amazed not only by how much more you accomplish, but by how it positively affects your entire day. The hour of gold is waiting for you every morning. Will you claim it or let this treasure remain buried? The choice, as always, is yours. Lesson 4. Beating the Time Thieves. Have you ever reached the end of your day wondering where all the time went? You had such grand plans this morning, yet somehow the hours slipped away like water through your fingers. My friends, what you've encountered are the time thieves, those subtle, seemingly harmless interruptions that silently rob you of your most precious resource. The most dangerous aspect of these thieves is their invisibility. We don't notice them because they disguise themselves as necessary parts of our day. The quick email check that turns into 30 minutes of responding to messages, the social media glance that becomes an hour of scrolling, the coworker stopping by for just a quick question that evolves into a 20-minute conversation. Let me share something remarkable with you. Studies have shown that after being interrupted, it takes the average person 23 minutes to return to their original level of concentration. Think about that. A 30-second interruption actually costs you nearly half an hour of productive time. Multiply that by the dozen or more interruptions most people face daily, and you can see why so many feel there aren't enough hours in the day. Your attention is truly your most valuable resource, more valuable than money, for money can be earned back, but time once spent is gone forever. When you allow your attention to be fractured and scattered throughout the day, you're essentially spending your life's currency on things that return little value. One of the greatest myths of our modern age is the idea of multitasking. Many wear their ability to juggle multiple projects simultaneously as a badge of honor. But the human mind wasn't designed this way. What we call multitasking is actually task, switching, and each switch comes with a mental cost. Research has consistently shown that attempting to do 2 cognitive tasks simultaneously can reduce productivity by up to 40s. That means your 8-hour workday effectively becomes less than 5 hours of actual productivity. The solution is both simple and challenging. We must become masters of our attention rather than victims of distraction. Begin by creating environments that protect your focus. This might mean turning off notifications, closing your office door, or working in scheduled blocks of uninterrupted time. Develop the habit of asking, "Is this the best use of my time right now?" Whenever you feel the pull toward a distraction, often just this moment of awareness is enough to redirect your focus to what truly matters. Beating the time thieves isn't about working more hours. It's about extracting more value from the hours you have. When you guard your attention with the same care you would guard your wallet, you'll discover that you already have all the time you need to accomplish remarkable things. The most productive people aren't given more hours in the day. They've simply learned to protect the hours they have. Lesson 5. The Power of One Task. There's a remarkable magic that happens when you dedicate yourself completely to a single task. In our modern world, we've become a society of jugglers, constantly switching between emails, phone calls, meetings, and countless other demands on our time. Yet the most productive people throughout history have understood a fundamental truth: the power of singularity of purpose. I once visited a craftsman who created beautiful wooden furniture. What struck me wasn't just the quality of his work, but his method. He would focus on one piece at a time, giving it his full attention until completion. When I asked about his remarkable productivity, he smiled and said, "I don't do many things at once. I do one thing many times better than others." This wisdom applies to all of us. When you concentrate your mental energies on a single task, you tap into depths of creativity and efficiency that remain inaccessible during scattered thinking. The human mind simply wasn't designed for constant switching. Each time you shift from one task to another, you pay what psychologists call a switching cost. Precious minutes lost regaining your mental momentum. Consider the difference between 2 approaches to your workday. In the first, you spend your hours bouncing between emails, phone calls, and projects, feeling busy but accomplishing little of substance. In the second, you block out uninterrupted time for your most important work, focusing deeply before moving to the next priority. The difference in results will astonish you. Think of your concentration as a laser beam. When scattered, its power dissipates, but when focused on a single point, it can cut through steel. Your attention works the same way. Scattered attention barely scratches the surface of problems, while focused attention cuts straight to solutions, The great achievers of our time protect their attention fiercely. They understand that saying yes to everything means saying yes to everything means saying yes to mediocrity. Instead, they select their most important task and give it their full mental resources. Practice this by implementing what I call the power hour. Choose one significant task that will move you toward your goals. Set a timer for 60 minutes. During this time, work only on that chosen task with complete focus. No email checks, no phone glances, just pure, undiluted attention on a single objective. At first, this practice may feel uncomfortable. Your mind, accustomed to constant stimulation, might rebel. You will feel the pull of distraction. This is normal. Concentration is indeed a muscle that strengthens with use. The discomfort you feel is simply that muscle developing. After 2 weeks of daily power hours, you'll notice something remarkable happening. Your ability to focus will dramatically improve. Tasks that once required hours somehow flow more easily. Solutions appear more readily. Your productivity doesn't just increase, it multiplies. Remember, extraordinary results don't come from dividing yourself among 100 tasks. They come from giving yourself completely what matters most. In a world that celebrates business, be the rare person who celebrates effectiveness instead. Master the power of one task and watch as your productivity transforms before your eyes. Lesson 6. The Attitude of Achievement. Your attitude is the magic key that unlocks all doors in life. I've often said that our attitude determines our altitude, and after decades of observing successful men and women, I've found this truth to be universal and unchanging. The most productive people in every field share one common trait. They possess what I call the attitude of achievement. This attitude begins with how you view problems. Most people see problems as burdens to be avoided. The achiever sees them as opportunities dressed in work clothes. When you face a challenge, your first response reveals everything about your future. Do you say, "Why is this happening to me?" Or do you ask, "What can I learn from this?" The difference may seem subtle, but it's the difference between mediocrity and excellence. Consider Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he simply said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the attitude of achievement at work, seeing setbacks as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Enthusiasm is another cornerstone of this winning attitude. Many people believe enthusiasm comes from success, but they have it backward. Success comes from enthusiasm. And here's the wonderful secret. Enthusiasm is a choice, not a feeling that happens to you. You can decide right now to approach your work with excitement and energy. Try this experiment. For one day, act enthusiastically about everything you do. You'll be amazed at how your productivity soars. Your reactions matter more than your circumstances. Life will throw curveballs at everyone. The achiever simply chooses better responses. When a project fails, the average person sulks and assigns blame. The achiever asks, "What went wrong, and how can we do better next time?" This solution, focused mindset, creates forward momentum while others remain stuck. The attitude of achievement also means taking personal responsibility. Productive people never say, "That's not my job." They see what needs to be done and do it without being asked. They don't wait for perfect conditions or ideal circumstances. They create their own favorable conditions through their attitude. Your productivity will automatically double when you adopt this attitude because you'll waste no energy on complaining, blaming, or feeling sorry for yourself. All that energy gets redirected toward achieving your goals. Start each morning by consciously choosing your attitude. Say to yourself, "Today I choose to be enthusiastic. I choose to be enthusiastic. I choose to see problems as opportunities. I choose to take responsibility for my results." Make this a daily habit and watch as your productivity transforms before your eyes. Your attitude is the one thing in life over which you have complete control. No person or circumstance can force you to have a poor attitude. This realization alone is enormously freeing. You always have the power to choose how you respond to life. Choose the attitude of achievement, and you'll join the ranks of the world's most productive people. Lesson 7. The magnificent power of routine. The most successful people in the world have discovered a secret that most of humanity overlooks. It's a principle so simple, yet so profound, that once you grasp it and apply it to your daily life, your productivity will not merely increase, it will multiply. That principle is the power of routine. Consider the lives of great achievers throughout history, from Benjamin Franklin to Thomas Edison, from Ernest Hemingway to Margaret Thatcher. These remarkable people didn't reinvent their days each morning. They established powerful routines that eliminated countless small decisions, freeing their minds for the important work of creation and problem-solving. You see, each decision you make throughout your day drains a little bit of your mental energy. What to wear, what to eat, when to answer emails, these seemingly insignificant choices accumulate, leaving you mentally exhausted when it's time to do your most important work. A well-designed routine eliminates these draining decisions. Think of routine as the rails upon which the train of your productivity runs. Without those rails, even the most powerful locomotive would sit useless, unable to channel its energy in a meaningful direction. Your talent and determination are that locomotive, and routine provides the track. But understand this important distinction. Routine is not the same as rigid scheduling. A proper routine has flexibility built into it. It creates a framework that supports your best work while allowing for the unexpected events of life. The structure paradoxically creates freedom. When you first establish a productive routine, you may feel resistance. This is normal. Your old habits will fight to maintain their territory. But persistence is your ally here. After approximately 21 days of consistent practice, your new routine will begin to feel natural. What once required conscious effort will become automatic. Begin by examining the patterns of your most productive days. What did you do in the morning? When did you tackle your most important tasks? How did you structure your breaks? Use these insights to craft a routine that works with your natural rhythms, not against them. Include specific triggers in your routine, little anchors that signal to your brain that it's time to shift into productive mode. Perhaps it's preparing a particular type of tea, or sitting at a specific location, or even wearing certain clothes that you associate with focused work. Sleep is not separate from your productive routine. It's an essential component. The quality of your sleep directly impacts the quality of your waking hours. Establish a consistent bedtime and rising time, even on weekends, and watch how this simple change magnifies your energy and focus. Start small. Don't attempt to overhaul your entire day at once. Begin with creating a morning routine that launches your day with purpose, or an evening routine that properly closes your day and prepares you for tomorrow. The truly productive person understands that we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Your routine is that system. Design it thoughtfully, implement it consistently, and it will carry you to heights of achievement that would otherwise remain forever beyond your reach. Lesson 8. The miracle of compound productivity. Most folks are looking for the secret breakthrough that will double their productivity overnight. They want the magic formula, the revolutionary app, or the groundbreaking technique that will transform them in an instant. But that's not how real achievement works. The true miracle, and I use that word deliberately, is found in compound productivity. Let me explain what I mean. Just as money compounds when interest is earned, not just on the principal, but on the interest itself, your productivity compounds when today's small improvements build upon yesterday's gains. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. Consider what happens when you improve just one each day. That might seem insignificant, hardly worth the effort. But that tiny one's improvement, compounded daily for 1 year, results in you becoming 37 times better. That's not 30. 7 better. That's 30. 7 times better. Such is the astonishing power of compound productivity. The trouble is, most people quit too soon. They make a few small improvements, don't see dramatic results, and abandon their efforts. They never stay in the game long enough for the miracle of compounding to work its magic. Think about a giant oak tree. When you plant an acorn, nothing visible happens for quite some time. You could dig it up after a week and find hardly any change. But deep beneath the surface, crucial transformations are occurring. And when the sprout finally breaks through, growth accelerates dramatically because of all the invisible preparation that came before. Your productivity works exactly the same way. Those small daily habits, reading 20 pages, writing for 15 minutes, making one more call than yesterday, may seem insignificant in isolation, but day after day, they're creating an unseen foundation for remarkable growth. Here's how to harness this principle. First, identify one small productivity habit you can improve today. Perhaps it's starting work 15 minutes earlier, or processing emails in batches instead of constantly checking them, or eliminating just one unnecessary meeting from your schedule. Second, commit to maintaining this improvement while adding another small enhancement tomorrow. Remember, you're not trying to revolutionize your entire work life in a day. You're building a productivity system that compounds over time. Third, track your progress. Seeing the accumulation of small wins provides the motivation to continue. When you look back after 30 days, you'll be amazed at how far you've come through seemingly minor adjustments. The most successful people I've known embrace this principle of compound productivity. They understand that consistency trumps intensity. They don't try to run a marathon on their first day of training. Instead, they jog around the block, then a little farther tomorrow and farther still the next day. The miracle of compound productivity is available to anyone willing to start small and persist. Unlike rich, quick schemes or overnight success stories, this approach is based on unchanging principles that have worked throughout human history. Start today with one small improvement, then watch in wonder as the miracle of compounding transforms your productivity and your life over the weeks and months ahead. Lesson 9. The Art of Effective Delegation. The greatest achievers in history were never lone wolves. They were master delegators who understood a fundamental truth. Your productivity isn't measured by how much you personally do, but by how much gets accomplished through your influence. This is the secret that separates the extraordinarily productive from those who remain forever busy yet accomplish little of significance. Most of us fall into the trap of believing that to ensure something is done right, we must do it ourselves. This thinking creates a bottleneck that severely limits what you can accomplish. Your energy, attention, and time are finite resources. There are only 24 hours in each day, and you'll never get more. But through effective delegation, you can multiply your impact tenfold, or even 100-fold, or even 100-fold. The reluctance to delegate often stems from fear. Fear that others won't meet your standards. Fear of losing control. Fear that teaching someone else takes more time than doing it yourself. These fears may feel real, but they are barriers to your greater success. Proper delegation begins with clarity. You must know precisely what outcome you desire. Many delegation attempts fail because instructions are vague or incomplete. Before handing off a task, take time to clearly define what success looks like. What is the deadline? What level of quality is required? What resources are available? The few minutes you spend creating clarity will save hours of corrections later. Next, match the task to the right person. Each individual has unique strengths and weaknesses. The art of delegation involves understanding who excels at what. Some people thrive with creative challenges while others prefer structured, predictable work. When you align tasks with natural abilities, you'll find people exceed your expectations rather than merely meeting them. Trust is the oxygen of effective delegation. When you micromanage, you suffocate initiative and create dependency. Give people room to find their own path to the outcome. You've defined their own path to the outcome. This doesn't mean abandoning them. It means providing the right balance of freedom and support. Check in at agreed, upon milestones rather than hovering constantly. Delegation is teaching, not just task assignment. Take time to explain the why behind the what. When people understand their what, when people understand the purpose behind their work, they make better decisions and show more initiative. Each delegation is an investment in building a more capable team around you. Start small if delegation feels uncomfortable. Choose lower-risk tasks where mistakes wouldn't be catastrophic. As your confidence grows, gradually delegate more significant responsibilities. Notice how this frees you to focus on the truly important work that only you can do, the strategic thinking, relationship building, and creative problem solving that drives exceptional results. The most productive people aren't those who work the longest hours or move the fastest. They're the ones who understand their highest contribution comes from focusing on what they do uniquely well while empowering others to handle the rest. Master the art of delegation, and you'll find yourself accomplishing more than you ever thought possible, not by working harder, but by working smarter through the multiplied efforts of others. Lesson 10. The Power of Renewal. The most productive people in the world understand a fundamental secret that escapes the majority of men and women. True productivity isn't about constant action. It's about rhythmic renewal. Just as the farmer knows, there are seasons for planting and seasons for harvest. The wise person recognizes the necessity of restoration. This is the hidden key that unlocks extraordinary productivity. Think of your personal energy as a well from which you draw water. Many people keep drawing and drawing until one day they reach down and find nothing left. They've forgotten the essential truth that wells must be replenished. Your productivity depends not on how many hours you work, but on the quality of energy you bring to those hours. Consider the human body itself. Your heart doesn't beat continuously, it pulses, then rests. Your lungs don't inhale constantly. They breathe in, then breathe out. Even electricity doesn't flow in a constant stream, but in waves. Nature teaches us this rhythm everywhere we look, yet in our working lives, we often ignore this profound wisdom. The greatest thinkers and achievers throughout history practiced this principle. Edison would take short naps during his marathon invention sessions. Churchill insisted on his afternoon nap even during the darkest days of World War VIII. These weren't signs of laziness, but strategic renewal? The evidence is clear. For every 90 minutes of intense focus, your mind needs about 15-20 minutes of genuine renewal. Fighting against this natural rhythm is like swimming against a powerful current. You'll exhaust yourself with little forward progress. What does true renewal look like? It isn't checking your email or scrolling through social media. Those activities further deplete your mental resources. True renewal might be a short walk outside, a few minutes of deep breathing, stretching your body, or simply closing your eyes and clearing your mind. The key is disconnection from demands and reconnection with yourself. Weekly renewal follows the same principle. 6 days of work followed by 1 day of complete restoration isn't just an ancient spiritual practice. It's sound productivity advice. The person who works 7 days a week soon finds their creativity diminished, their judgment clouded, and their effectiveness reduced. Yearly renewal follows this pattern too. Those who take real vacations, where they truly disconnect from work, return with fresh perspectives and renewed energy that more than compensates for their time away. Remember this paradox. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing at all. The quiet spaces between your efforts are not empty. They're where your mind integrates information, where your body rebuilds its resources, and where your spirit reconnects with purpose. Make renewal a non-negotiable part of your productivity system. Schedule it as seriously as you would an important meeting. Treat these periods not as luxury, but as necessity. When you honor the natural rhythm of productivity and renewal, you'll discover a remarkable truth. You'll accomplish more by doing less, but doing it with full, vibrant energy. Lesson 11. The Silent Power of Rest. Success leaves clues. And one of the most overlooked clues left by history's most productive people isn't what they did, but what they didn't do. The great paradox of productivity is that your greatest gains often come from strategic periods of rest. Think about that for a moment. Most people believe that productivity means constant action, perpetual busyness, and a calendar filled to the brim. Nothing could be further from the truth. The most accomplished men and women throughout history understood that the human mind and body operate in natural rhythms, periods of intense focus followed by necessary recovery. Winston Churchill, who led England through its darkest hours, insisted on taking a nap every afternoon, regardless of the crisis at hand. Thomas Edison would fall asleep in his lab with a steel ball in his hand. As he drifted off, the ball would drop, wake him, and he'd immediately record the insights that came during that twilight state between wakefulness and sleep. Your productivity isn't measured by hours worked, but by results achieved, and peak results require peak energy. Consider how a farmer approaches his land. Does he plant crops year-round without pause? Of course not. He understands the seasons. He knows that fallow periods allow the soil to regenerate its nutrients. You are no different. Your mind requires these fallow periods. When you work without adequate rest, you're drawing from an ever-diminishing reserve of mental energy. Your decisions become poorer. Your creativity dwindles, and what might have taken you 1 hour now stretches to 3. Here's a truth that changed my life. Rest is not a reward for productivity. It's a prerequisite for it. The quality of your work depends directly on the quality of your rest. When you shortchange your sleep, when you push through weekends without pause, when you neglect the natural rhythms of your body and mind, you're not being heroic, you're being foolish. Try this experiment. For 1 week, commit to sleeping 7 to 8 hours each night. No exceptions. Notice how your thinking clarifies. Notice how your thinking clarifies. Notice how problems that seemed insurmountable suddenly reveal their solution. Notice how your productivity doesn't decrease, but multiplies. Remember, too, that rest isn't only physical. Mental rest, periods where you deliberately turn away from your work and engage in something entirely different, creates the space needed for breakthroughs. The answer that eluded you during hours of concentrated effort often appears when you're taking a walk, playing with your children, or enjoying a meal with friends. The most productive people I've known share this common trait. They work with intense focus for defined periods, then rest with equal intention. They understand that productivity isn't about duration but density, how much value you can pack into each working hour. So tonight, turn off your devices an hour before bed. Tomorrow, take a real lunch break away from your desk. This weekend, leave work behind completely for at least 1 full day. These aren't indulgences. They're investments in your productive capacity. The power of strategic rest might be silent, but its impact on your results will speak volumes. Lesson 12. The compound effect of small wins. The story of human achievement is written not in grand, dramatic gestures, but in the quiet accumulation of small victories. This final principle may be the most powerful of all. The compound effect of small wins, like a penny that doubles each day and becomes more than $5 million in just 30 days. Your small productivity wins compound into extraordinary results when applied consistently. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, and vastly underestimate what they can achieve in a year. This perspective keeps them trapped in a cycle of disappointment and procrastination. The achievers of this world understand that success comes not from heroic, one-time efforts, but from small, seemingly insignificant actions performed day after day after day after day. Consider the simple mathematics. If you improve just 1% each day for a year, you'll end up 7 times better than when you started. Not 30, 7% better, 7 times better, 7 times better. This is the miracle of compound improvement that few people ever grasp. Look at your daily habits right now. Each represents a compound interest account, either working for you or against you. The evening television show that cost you 30 minutes of productive time isn't just 30 minutes lost. Over a year, that becomes 182 hours, more than 4 full work weeks. What might you accomplish with 4 extra weeks? The most productive people in the world understand this principle intuitively. They focus not on dramatic transformations, but on tiny improvements in their daily systems. They track their habits. They celebrate small wins. They understand that consistency trumps intensity every single time. Begin today by identifying one small improvement you can make to your daily routine. Perhaps you'll read 10 pages of a book each morning or complete your most important task before checking email or take a 5-minute walk to clear your mind between projects. The action itself matters less than your commitment to performing it consistently. Then, create a visual record of your consistency. The great comedian Jerry Seinfeld used a simple wall calendar and marked each day he wrote jokes with a big red X. His only goal was to not break the chain of X's. This simple system helped him become one of the most successful comedians in history. Motivation is fleeting, but systems endure. Don't rely on feeling inspired. Build systems that make productivity inevitable rather than optional. Use habit stacking by attaching new behaviors to existing routines. Place visual reminders where you'll see them throughout your day. Make your environment work for you rather than against you. The truly extraordinary results in your life will come from ordinary actions performed with extraordinary consistency. The quality of your habits creates the quality of your life. Your small daily choices are in fact your life in miniature. As we conclude our journey together, remember this: productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things consistently well. The 12 principles in this book, when applied daily with patience and persistence, will transform not just what you accomplish, but who you become. The greatest productivity secret of all is that, in the process of doubling your output, you will discover you have become a different person entirely. Someone far more capable than you ever imagined possible.